I've been negotiating for more than 25 years. I did a lot of it in a labor management context and also as an attorney. I've been, for the last 5 years, doing a lot of teaching. I teach through the Scheinman Institute at Cornell. I teach independently on my own. I do a lot of advising to individual and organizations about negotiations. I'd say the myth people believe most about negotiation is that you're most successful in negotiations by being as adversarial and competitive as possible. So there are times when the appropriate way to negotiate is to be highly competitive, highly adversarial, only looking out for your own interests. There are instances where that's appropriate, but there are many instances where the best deal available is either in a purely collaborative deal, a negotiation and outcome, or in a negotiation that is partially collaborative and partially adversarial. There could be dozens or even hundreds of different factors that could ultimately contribute to the success of a negotiation. However, I would say for virtually every negotiation, there are going to be 3 factors that an individual would want to consider going into negotiations. That would be interests and relationship and alternatives. So if you were going to walk into a negotiation, I would say you should ask yourself, 1, what are my interests in this negotiation? 2, are interests all I care about, my own interests, or do I care about relationship with the other party? 3rd, if I don't make a deal with the party in front of me right now, what are my alternatives? The only thing that I've seen with millennials that I kind of consistently need to address is the idea that it can all be solved with technology. You could send a text that says, "How do you feel about this?" But the texting format is not meant for people to open up and share. And in order to be able to do productive negotiations, we need a lot of information, and texting is not going to be your best choice for doing that. I'm also going to say being physically in the same location as other people matters. It's nice to Skype. We can Skype this way. I can see your face, you can see mine. Emotion matters. You can see a lot more than you used to. However, so many times breakthroughs in negotiations happen in the walking out of the conference room, the chat you start having that didn't even seem to be part of the negotiation. That's the starting point for the breakthrough. Or you're all staying in the same hotel, you have your formal negotiations all day long, but when you go down and you're sitting there at dinner and you sit for dinner, and somehow that's the moment where it all starts. And so millennials can believe a little bit too much in that the technology will take care of it. And I'm going to say, until the millennials do prove to me differently, get into the same place, get into the same room with the person you want to make a deal with. The highlight of the session is the negotiating simulation, the exercise that we do, and the debrief. To me, learning how to negotiate or honing one's negotiating skills, improving one's negotiating skills is about practice. So if someone tries to tell you they're going to teach you how to negotiate by giving you instructional videos or having you read a book and never going through the process of practicing those skills, then I'm going to say that's not a very good teaching environment. Negotiation is like driving a car or cooking a gourmet meal, that you can watch other people do it, you can read a recipe, but there's going to have to be get behind the wheel, drive yourself, get in that kitchen, get dirty, and do it. And so the simulations are a great opportunity to exercise the simulations. Practice of the actual skills is what really moves people forward in terms of becoming better negotiators. So I always love that part. One of your participants came back and said to me, "Thank you so much, you made me uncomfortable." And I just adored that. That made me happy, because people being made a little bit uncomfortable is an indication that they're learning, that they're making progress. They've been a little bit outside of the comfort zone, not so far out that it's painful, but enough so that they could get to the next step. So that was great.